So today I'll be teaching you reading a reading strategy on a historical fiction using making connection strategy. Alright, so the book we're going to be reading is called A Rosa Park, written by Elizabeth Kaiser, illustrated by Martha Antelo. Alright, it is by Little People Big Dreams. Okay, so my strategy is you're gonna put a tab basically on the first few pages. So here we're gonna read, and here you're gonna basically read like Rosa childhood and family life, okay? And you're gonna do like a test to self connection with your students. So Rosa grew up near Montgomery, Alabama, with her mother, brother, and grandparents. She was very little and very brave, and she always tried to do what was right. When she was young, Rosa's grandparents told her stories about slavery, when black people weren't free to live like other people. Slavery was over, but times were still hard for Rosa and her family. Black people were treated very badly until they were not equal to white people. So, the test to self connection that you can share with students is like, I used to live with my grandparents and my mother, and we lived in a small house. And I was little once, and I was very brave too. Alright, that would kind of be your test to self connection. Alright, and then from there you will read tab 2, which is right here. And this will basically be explaining the experience seen of segregation and unfair treatment that was a part, basically, the way she was treated, especially around like her age and during segregation. And this would be more of a text to well connection, as students should hopefully know a little bit about segregation, especially and if they don't, you might want to maybe put like a little like educational video about segregation so that they can kind of get an idea of what it was, that, or do like or find like a definition that is kid friendly. So this will be like, every day Rosa watched the supers go by, taking white children to the big school. It didn't stop for her. She had to walk a long way to the one-room school that was just for black children. So around this time, segregation was happening. What I mean is because Rosa would watch the school bus go by, taking only white children to Gilbert School, while Rosa would have to walk a long way to a one-room school that was just for black children. And Rosa knew this wasn't right. She knew she was a regular person, just as good as anyone else. So, lots of times she had to make sure other people knew it too. So, as you can see in this picture, Rosa just thinks that everybody should be equal, which, I mean, nowadays we agree. But back then, a lot of people weren't equal. So you could kind of tell, like, by the little boys on this side, their faces, they go making two rows apart. You can kind of tell that back then, to them, they were different. And they weren't, like, really equal. Same here. When Rosa grew up and got a job in the city, she couldn't use the same doors, elevators, bathrooms, or water fountains as white people. So same here, you can see the color entrance, color fountain, white water fountain, color restroom, and white waiting room. Everything was kind of labeled as that were what they had to use and stuff like that. So here we're gonna talk about Rosa's decision to refuse to give up her seat. Okay, and here you will kind of do a cat to cat connection with students. Alright, so on her way home from the city one day, a bus driver told Rosa to stand up so a white person could take her seat. She was sick of rules that she knew were wrong. She got enough. She said no. And then from here you will kind of feel like, so here it will be kind of like our students show the impact that cars, you know, everything, like, because she said no, just kind of led to what happened. So Rosa was taken to jail. She wasn't jailed because she knew that what she was fighting for was right. Then from here you would kind of do the impact of Rosa Parks action on the community. Alright, and this would be a catch to world connection also that you will kind of talk with talk with the students. So when Rosa Parks came home that night, she talked with her friends and family about what to do. She decided to keep fighting no matter how hard it would be. Black people all over the city heard what had happened to Rosa. They got enough. Rosa inspired them to stop riding the buses until the rules changed. So they walked to school and to work and to the store and in all kinds of weather. Rosa traveled the country from New York to San Francisco to convince other people to join the fight. Finally, after 1 year, the Supreme Court decided that treating black people differently from white people on buses was wrong. The rules were going to change. It was no longer safe for Rosa to live in Alabama. She moved to Detroit and fought for the fair schools, jobs, and houses for black people. She fought for voting rights, women's rights, and the rights of people in prison. So that would kind of be like, I mean, you can read like the whole story, but that would be like the main focus on those tabs. And then you will also have another tab for Rosa legacy and continue to fight for equality, which will basically, as you saw, will be kind of towards the end. And that will also be attached to World Connection. Okay, so you can also do the strategy by explaining that making connection means relating to what you read. Model each type of connection at each cap, pause, and think out loud to demonstrate making a connection. For example, when reading about Rosa's childhood, says, I remember when I had to follow the rules in school that felt unfair. This is like Rosa's experience. You can also guide students to make their own connection, asking questions like, have you ever felt treated unfairly like Rosa? Or can you think of another story where someone stood up for what was right? Discuss connection, encourage students to share their connections to keep an understanding and empathy. Continue reading with reflection. Use tabs and natural stopping points to reflect on connections, helping students stay engaged and think about a Rosa Parks story and your lives and grow. You can also do a small little activity using this book. Um, like you can do a small reading activity with this too. So like a small activity can be, well, you can do a signing up for what right map, like connection map. Well, students will make a test yourself to test yourself, test to touch, and test the world connection to better understand what is a part, courage, and importance of signing up for justice. Materials you need is this book, making connection graphic organizer, chart paper or whiteboard markers or color pencils. The activity steps would be like before reading, begin with classes session, ask what does it mean to sign up for what right, have students share examples from their own lives or on a birthday web, doing reading as you read, stop at each tab. Okay, student can jot down how was a childhood, reminding them of their own family challenges. Student can also connect segregation in the story to unfairness they learn about in history or see in the world today. Student can also recall another story or characters who show bravery, like Ruby Bridges, Martin Luther King Jr., or Malala. Um, they can also reflect on how Rosa's action led to change and think about ways they can create changes too. Then afterwards, you can have your students fill out their connected map graphic organized and then discuss as a class how do our connection help us understand Rosa's story better. You can also have students write a short reflection, draw pictures showing what courage looks like to them. Okay, thank you for my strategy. I hope you enjoyed it.